Privacy policies and procedures are important guidelines that outline how an organization collects, uses, shares, and protects personal data. Below are some key elements that should be included in a privacy policy. Data collection. Your privacy policy should clearly state what data you collect from users and how you collect it. You should also explain the purposes for which you collect the data. Data storage. You should explain how you store the data you collect, and how long you will keep it. You should also provide information on the security measures you have in place to protect user data. Data usage. Your privacy policy should clearly explain how you use the data you collect. This may include things like sending promotional emails, personalizing user experiences, or sharing data with third parties. Data sharing. If you share user data with third parties, you should explain who those third parties are and why you are sharing the data. User rights. Your privacy policy should explain the rights that users have regarding their data. This may include the right to access their data, the right to correct their data, or the right to have their data deleted. Opt-out. You should provide users with a way to opt out of certain types of data collection or data sharing. Updates. Your privacy policy should be updated regularly to reflect changes in your data practices or changes in privacy laws. To ensure that your organization is following its privacy policies and procedures, you should also implement the following best practices. Conduct regular privacy audits to identify areas where you may be collecting or using data in ways that are not consistent with your policies. Train employees on your privacy policies and procedures to ensure they understand how to handle personal data. Conduct regular risk assessments to identify potential privacy risks and take steps to mitigate those risks. Respond quickly to data breaches or privacy incidents to minimize the impact on users. By implementing these best practices and creating clear privacy policies and procedures, you can help protect user data and build trust with your customers. Australian privacy law refers to the set of laws and regulations that govern the collection, use, disclosure, and storage of personal information in Australia. The main purpose of these laws is to protect individuals' privacy by regulating how organizations handle their personal information. The key legislation that governs privacy in Australia is the Privacy Act 1988, 100th, which applies to most Australian government agencies, private sector organisations with an annual turnover of more than $3 million, and some small businesses that handle health or other sensitive information. The Privacy Act includes 13 Australian privacy principles, APs, that set out the minimum standards for handling personal information. These principles include requirements for obtaining consent, providing access to personal information, and ensuring that personal information is accurate and up-to-date. In addition to the Privacy Act, there are also other laws and regulations that regulate privacy in specific sectors, such as the My Health Records Act 2012, 100th, for health information, and the Telecommunications Interception and Access Act 1979, 100th, for telecommunications data. Overall, the Australian privacy law aims to protect individuals' privacy by setting clear standards for how organizations should handle personal information and by providing individuals with the right to access and correct their personal information. A privacy policy is a legal document that outlines how an organization collects, uses, and manages personal information. It is a statement of the organization's commitment to protecting individuals' privacy. It should be easy to understand, comply with relevant privacy laws, and clearly explain data processing practices, individual rights, and options. Having a privacy policy is important for establishing trust, transparency, and accountability, and can help to prevent privacy breaches and legal liability. There are several privacy issues associated with technology. Some of the most common privacy issues include data breaches. Cyberattacks are security breaches that result in the unauthorized access, theft, or exposure of sensitive personal information, such as names, addresses, financial data, or health records. Online tracking, the collection and tracking of individuals' online activities and behaviors, often without their knowledge or consent, through the use of cookies, device fingerprints, or other tracking technologies. Social media privacy, the exposure or misuse of personal information shared on social media platforms, including profile data, posts, photos, and messages. cyberbullying, the use of technology, such as social media or messaging apps, to harass, intimidate, or threaten individuals. Surveillance, the monitoring of individuals' online activities or communication by governments, law enforcement agencies, or other organizations without their knowledge or consent. Internet of Things, IoT. Privacy, the potential privacy risks associated with the use of interconnected devices, such as smart homes, wearables, or vehicles, that collect and share personal information. These privacy issues can have significant impacts on individuals' lives, including identity theft, financial loss, reputational harm, or emotional distress. Organizations that collect, store, or process personal information also face privacy risks, such as legal liability, loss of customer trust, or damage to their reputation. Therefore, it is important to take steps to mitigate these privacy issues and protect individuals' privacy rights.